he himself has to be convinced. He has to evaluate and, go through the process and everything else like that. If he doesn't feel 100% that Caleb Williams is the guy, or Drake May, or Jaden Daniels, or whoever he decides to pick, then you stick with Justin. But if he feels in his heart of hearts that Caleb Williams right now is the guy to take this franchise into the future, then that's who he's got to take. And he's in the position he's in because that's what he gets paid to do. And we'll see.
So
We
does
don't know
Jerry
how he
Angelo. Like
evaluates.
again, they don't. I don't. I'm not so big on the number one pick thing, just because historically they rarely panned out, and even the ones who did, what? How long? I was just what Peyton Manning took him 10 years to win, 9 years to
I
win.
get it. I get it. But
Matt
again,
Stafford took him 13 years in another team. Cam Newton, I mean, he had 2 good seasons. Like,
we're talking about we're talking about historically, and yes, there's a lot of expectations, a lot of pressure. But how many of those number one picks went to teams that had a playoff caliber roster? Because they were close. The Bears were close this year. How many of those number one picks that you just named, that you just thought of, went to playoff caliber teams
well, I
from the year
guess none
before?
of them.
None
But
of
I
them.
mean,
Not a single
we're
one.
we're a
Not a single
playoff
one
caliber
ever.
team. But yes, but again, in my head, I'm thinking Justin's
So,
on the team. If you take
so
Justin, if you pluck Justin off the team, are we still the playoff caliber? Like, are
it
we
doesn't
still the
matter.
same thing? That does
It doesn't.
matter.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't, because Tyson Bagent went 2-2 while
Yes, but
Justin
he
Fields was
played the
hurt.
Raiders, the
Uh,
Panthers, the
okay, Justin
Saints,
Fields. Who did Justin Fields beat?
the
He
Lions.
beat Jared Goff.
They're playing right now.
One quality win. Like
I mean,
your
I'm not
your
saying
argument.
one.
You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
I'm
Your
just saying it's
argument
like I'm
is
not saying that he more. I'm just saying Justin would have beat those guys too. It wasn't like we won those games because of Tyson Bagent.
and
Like,
Tyson Bagent probably could have, maybe not against the
no,
Lions, but Tyson
I
Bagent
don't think
probably
we
could
would
have
have beat the
beaten.
Lions.
I'm not. I just
Maybe the
said Tyson
Vikings that
Bagent.
game we won 9 to whatever, or 13 to. I'm just like
Well, hold
Justin's
on.
a part of
You
us
didn't let me
being a
finish.
almost okay. Go ahead.
You didn't let me finish. So you talk about historically number one quarterbacks, or number one picks who have been quarterbacks, don't pan out, or take a while to pan out or whatever. This situation has never happened before. This is the first time historically that something like this has happened. So we can't go based off of
Well, I mean, we
historic.
can because those guys, their team wasn't a playoff team when they were rookie, but it eventually became a playoff team, and they didn't do shit when it did, when they were more experienced.
But they don't have the roster that
Peyton
the
Manning
what
did
I'm
have the
saying is
roster year three,
they
four,
don't have
five,
the
6, 7.
yeah, but not as a rookie. They
Yeah, but I'm
have
not
the
talking about a rookie. I
opportunity
already
to
told you the
be.
rookie year is a throwaway. I already told you we're not
I
making the
don't think
playoffs
it
as a
is.
rookie. It
I
is.
don't think it
Yeah,
is.
I don't imagine.
Now with the roster the way it is, I
I
really
mean,
don't.
as
And
I
how
don't know.
much of a drop off, you know what I'm saying? Because
That's what I'm saying. He'll be the same as I think he'll be similar to Justin Fields. We'll be 7-10 again
his
and not make the playoffs.
his rookie year, I
That's
don't
what I
know.
mean. I mean, I don't
If you
know
have the
either.
other
I'm just
playmakers,
looking at historically number one QBs in general, but I mean, yeah, rookie QBs in general. It's not even number ones. They just you're not. It's not happening. Even the best quarterbacks we've ever had in the league ever don't do it. So saying he's a generational talent and all this stuff is like it doesn't even matter because we've seen generational talents. Trevor Lawrence couldn't overcome it. Like these guys are all very good players. So I don't necessarily think like I know what you're saying. We're never going to be in the catbird seat and get our pick of the litter. But maybe that's not always the best thing to be in the first spot. Look, the Panthers were in the number one spot and they fucking blew their load, and every other team in the league would too, and they would have picked fucking Bryce Young, and
like
they
I said,
wouldn't have got the.
you have to get it right.
That's what I'm
I'm
saying.
not.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like, so who cares? What if next year we're pick 3? We whoever we trade with, we're pick 3, and so they fuck up and pick a shitty quarterback, and the good one in the class falls to us. Or there's a Lamar Jackson who falls to 20, or Jordan Love, or a Patrick Mahomes, or Josh Allen. Like we like every quarterback who's left in the playoffs right now is some fucking guy who got like Jared Goff. I guess he was the number 2 pick, but he was like he was considered a bust, and they got rid of him. And I think
Jared Goff was a number one.
oh, he's number 1. I thought he was 2.
Yeah,
I thought he
no,
was 2, but either number
he
1.
was the
Okay,
number one.
but in a down draft though, he was.
But who called him a bust? He took a team to a
They
Super Bowl.
trade.
Who called
They
him a
got rid
bust?
of him because the Rams thought they couldn't win with him anymore. And again,
And,
this
and
let me when last year when they were drafting, there was real teams saying Dan Campbell should have took a quarterback and moved on from Jared Goff. That was real question marks. And Jared Goff, I think Baker Mayfield. You know, I mean, I won't even say Geno because Geno sat on the bench for fucking 10 years before he came back. But like Jared Goff, people like McVay was done with them. He thought, oh, I can't win with this kid. They had a couple down years. Baker Mayfield. There are some guys who kind of bounce back, like, and maybe they don't bounce back to be a superstar, but I don't like Baker just had his best year yet. And he was the number one overall pick, and it was year 6 on his 5th team. He got cut 3 times last year, and he just so. This whole we got to have the number one overall. Like I don't know. Like yeah, you're right. It's cool. We got it. We got a bunch of stuff for it. But historically, it really that's not where you get the best quarterbacks anyway. So I don't know this big deal that we're never going to be in this situation again. What to overanalyze and be paralyzed by the decision? Everyone always takes who's everyone tells them to take when you're the number one pick. Like I said, last year, I would say I won't say every team, 30 out of 32 teams would have took Bryce Young over CJ Stroud if they were number one, and they would have been dead fucking wrong. So I
Yeah,
like
well,
so
apparently it wasn't even the who was the coach? Frank Reich. Frank Reich didn't. They were gonna pick C.J. Stroud,
yeah,
but
Frank
David
Wright did,
Tepper.
and but that came out, but nobody else was that leaked out. But that was such a huge story because he was the only one who thought Stroud was better than Bryce Young, and they still didn't pick him because the owner was paralyzed by the decision, not wanting to be the dummy and not pick the guy that everybody told him was way better. And I think that's what always happens. What Mitch Trubisky, similar thing. People overthinking themselves. Deshaun Watson had just fucking beat Bama in the fucking national championship playing against a super team. And the our GM and other GM, I was looking at Mel Kiper's mock draft from that year. He had Mitch going number one. So whoever forgot who had the number one pick. So it's like you get like in the moment, we all get paralyzed, or not all of us, but a lot of these, especially scouts and all that, because they don't want to be the odd man out saying CJ Stroud's better than Bryce Young, and they're all paired in the same shit. And maybe Caleb will be good. I just think look, maybe he'll be an all world rookie. I don't know. I'm just saying historically, he's probably gonna be mid. Most rookies are. So we'll be 7 and 10 again, maybe 8 and 9, not making the playoffs. And okay, maybe he's good in 2 or 3 years, but like none of these guys, you never know. And just because you got the number one overall pick doesn't mean like, oh, that guy's gonna be good. Like that's like 40% chance he'll be good. Like I saw a list where like
Probably less than that.
um I think 40% of the time they throw for 4,000 yards in the last like 20 years, I think, or something like that. But yeah, being good, like, yeah, it's probably 20% of the time. Like, so I'm not so hung up on that. Yeah, it would suck. Yeah, if we keep Justin, Caleb Williams is Patrick Mahomes, and we could have had him. But people were saying that last year about Bryce Young. Like, oh, if Bryce Young's good and we kept Justin Fields, we're never gonna fucking get over it. Like, I think everybody's gonna get over it. Even as bad as Justin played, everyone's not like, oh, we should have got fucking Bryce Young. And if you're saying we should have got CJ Stroud, you're just being silly because we never would have picked him. And I think the same thing's going to happen. And I think next year there'll be a new guy who wasn't generational, who wins the Heisman, and he's going to be top of the list. And or in the year after that, and the year after that, and there'll be veterans to sign and things like that. I don't think you need to just you have to have this superstar quarterback right now, or you're not going to be relevant. Like I don't know, they got Purdy. He's a late round pick. You surround him with good guys. Um, Even I mean Lamar Jackson is amazing, but he's a late round pick that they surrounded with the right team. They call the right plays for him and they win on as a full team effort. And similar with the Lions, Goff is just a guy. He's slightly above average. You surround him with the right pick. Look what they did. The Lions did in their draft. Like we've been talking about, 2 offensive players. First round, those guys were studs. Jameer Gibbs and Laporta have been 2 of the best rookies ever. Like, and I think it's
Laporta
easier. Yeah,
Laporta was a second round pick.
oh yeah. Well, they get Jack Campbell in the first round. Then he
Yeah.
was an early second round pick though, right? Didn't they, or something
Yeah.
like that? Well, they got. But I'm saying all 3 of the guys they drafted were certified studs, and they added to the team. And I think it's a lot easier for the Laportas, the Gibbs, the Jack Campbells to step in and be good than Caleb Williams in Chicago, following a quarterback that might have been underwhelming that everyone loves. So the hot seat, he's going to be in the hot seat right away if he's not. Oh, like, again, I'm Team Justin for now. He's on our team, so those who I ride for. And when Caleb's on our team, I'll give him shit when he sucks, and if he's good, I'll pretend like I never did. But that's just how I see it. And I to close it out, I just to end the rebuild, to find like to be at the part of the rebuild where you're done, and then to throw away the guy who took the lumps throughout the whole thing, I think is just shitty.